All right, we should be live any second now. Any moment. And here we go. It looks like it might be turning live. We'll see. Not looking good. All right, we're going to see if it actually works this time. And there we go. As they say, the 75th time is the charm. I just love it when they help prove my points. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Chris, and this is my channel, Barn on 11970. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. It is currently 9:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 19th of December, 2016. And first off, I'd like to welcome all of the new subscribers. I gained almost about 100 new subscribers today. I guess mainly thanks to the video I posted earlier. And I want to show, especially the new people, what happens to YouTube channels anywhere out there that remotely speak anything about the truth, or they don't really just kiss the rear ends of the mainstream media and the government and just make videos that pander to a general audience about, kittens and video games and things like that. And I want to show you this because I get this all the time where I've had subscribers say they haven't seen a video from me in weeks or months, only to find out that the reason why is because they either don't get notifications or they have been unsubscribed from my channel. They don't get notifications. I've had people say that videos that I made over a month or two ago end up they just got the notifications today and this week, which, by the way, if you look on my videos, you'll see right where the subscribe button is, it will show a bell that you can hit, and you can hit the notification button. But I want to show you something. Now, for some reason, this has been happening a lot lately, where when I look up my name, it shows two videos of the same video. At least this time it's not showing the year 2038, which, by the way, I made a video about that about a few days ago. There's actually something that is really significant about the year 2038, so I hope you check out that video. But I want you to see something. The first one here shows the video I made earlier today, and it shows streamed 3 hours ago with no views. Okay? The other one, the presidential, 1,871 views. Now, these are the same. I didn't make two different videos, but it's showing at most 1,871 views. Now, I want to show you something. Here's my analytics for that very video. And currently, it has 6,500 views. So I know people like to say, oh, well, it takes time for them to register these things. I made this video now, as you could see, started between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's almost 5 hours later, and they've only gone from 6,500 to registering less than 2,000. But I also want to show you something else. Let's go to my channel, and I'm going to show you that I bet you anything that this video has already been blocked in some countries, because every one of my videos, or I can't say everyone, but like 90% of my videos get blocked like almost instantly. So this is what happens when a new visitor is here. You'll see this video. Now, let's just change it. So let me switch. Here's the one I made yesterday, actually 4 days ago. Now you watch when I click on this one here. This is the one I did today. Now it's saying 3 hours ago. Now look up there. Careful, the video you selected may not appear to some viewers because it's blocked in some countries. And you'll see, if I click on the majority of my videos, you will see that, see, so far only one of the ones that I've clicked so far have not been blocked in some countries. So as you can see, the only one is this one right here. So it's just incredible the way YouTube loves to basically silence truth. So especially if you're new here, I get people all the time, especially if you're new, or, the trolls love this one, but they'll say things like, oh, well, you have 30,000 plus subscribers. How come you have such small amounts of views? Well, the answer is, my information doesn't get out there. I don't get, I get people unsubscribed all the time. I get people saying all the time they get no notifications. The videos, and also when you show a bunch of videos, especially if you look in the search engines, you will never see my videos. But even if you do, when they show smaller view counts, it keeps more and more people away. So if you see a video of a topic that you're looking for, and one has 500,000 views, and another one has 35 views, you're most likely going to click on the one with the larger view counts. So that's another way that they can control this. And this is what the mainstream media calls fake news. I think they are, and many people would agree with me that they are the fake news. Because I don't claim, and I can't speak for anybody else, I can only speak for me. I cannot claim I get everything right. But what I can do is question things or see an alternative viewpoint about something and not just read a cue card and base that on what it supposedly is without asking questions. So this is why I want, especially the newer people to my channel, because the people that come here all the time pretty much get it. The newer people, you have to understand that YouTube, for whatever reasons, is just another corporation built on making money. And they don't care about people who want to speak the truth. That's why you'll see cat videos having hundreds of thousands of views. Video game channels get hundreds of thousands of views. Prank videos get hundreds of thousands of views. They want people to pay attention to things that will not enlighten them, who will not make them wise to the propaganda. And it's not just my channel, so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's just my channel. I've seen so many channels that talk about these kind of topics, trying to teach you about what's really going on, or at the very least, let you see an alternative point of view or question things. Because isn't that what you want from your media? Because mainstream media was supposed to be the unofficial fourth branch of the government to keep them in check. And we can see that they are bought and paid for, and how they love to silence me. And it's funny, as I say that, the typical error message comes up, which means if I hit the OK button, which I learned, as soon as I hit the OK button, it will disconnect me from the internet. So that's another thing that happens all the time. I've been disconnected. My audio on certain videos don't work. I have to reset it all the time, which for me, it doesn't frustrate me because it just proves that I'm doing something right. Because if I was 100% off base, talking about crazy stuff that was totally untrue, well, why would they want to silence me? Wouldn't they want to use me as an example and say, oh, look, these are the type of idiots you want to listen to? Why would they silence somebody unless they must be on the right track? Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and say I get everything right. I question things, and I don't think they like that. And if we, the people, don't really say things and basically keep them from doing this, eventually they're going to shut us all down. And I warned this a long time ago, that their job is to slowly silence your freedom of speech and your freedoms in general. They can't do it all in one shot because even the most fast asleep person will get it and they'll protest. They'll at least say, wait, what's going on? So they have to do a little bit of it. And as you can see, if we voice our opinions, if we make our voices heard, if we say no, if we take our money out of bank accounts and things like that, we can make a difference. We can change things, and we don't have to do it violently. So companies like YouTube should be ashamed of themselves for what they are doing. And they can make whatever excuses. The point is, there's a reason why they don't have a customer service line that you could call up and speak to a representative, because they know if they actually did that, they would be so overwhelmed with complaints about what they're doing that they would probably have to hire almost all of India to take the calls, because we know they don't use people that actually work here. They like to export jobs so other countries can get wealthy. And we can remain jobless and people trying to find work, which is one of the reasons why over 35% of America is currently on some type of social welfare program, thanks to the wonderful President Obama, which people just love to give him credit for, like saving the universe, apparently, not seeming to think that, for the past 8 years, he was one of the people, even though he is a puppet of a corporation, that's responsible for what we're dealing with now. But mark my words, with Donald Trump now, because he did win the electoral vote today, even if he gets into presidency and he tries to do everything, mark my words, the moment there's a problem with the economy, and I can guarantee you that's when the Fed is going to come in and they're going to cause some kind of problem. They're going to blame it on Trump. Everybody in the media is going to blame it on Trump. Even though for the past 8 years, if you said Obama did anything wrong, what did they do? They said, oh, he's still trying to fix what George Bush did. So he gets an 8-year pass. Donald Trump won't even get an 8-second pass, and they'll automatically blame him. But this is what I'm talking about with even YouTube, where they like to change the numbers. They like to make sure that our voices cannot be heard. That's why people, when they share my videos, they say they don't work. When they hit the like button, they find out that it didn't register. They love to make sure the troll ones get put up there. Which, that's fine. I mean, if some loser wants to come here and voice how much they hate me instead of just not watching, that says more about the use of their time than mine. The difference between these people and myself is I don't go to theirs and try and start trouble, because if they do anything I don't like, I don't waste my time. So what we need to do as the people is to educate ourselves, to finally stand up and say, no, I do not consent. To say, no, I am not going to allow you to continue to lie or spread propaganda or not question things. You're not getting a pass. And that's why, even though many people want Trump as our president, we cannot just sit back and say, okay, Trump, go do your job. We have to stick with him. We have to call him out if he does something wrong or he doesn't keep promises. We can't just sit there and just let somebody else try and fix the world. We have to make him accountable. I mean, like I said, already he's backed out in one of his promises of one of the biggest things in the campaign, when everybody yelled those 3 words that we all know and love during that whole campaign, and that was lock her up. And that's referring to Hillary Clinton. He's already stated that he's not going to do that we need to get past that. Well, no, we don't. Because if that was the case, you should have said that before you became president-elect. But you didn't say that during the campaign. So this is why I tell people, yes, I like Trump better than Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was going to bring us to World War III. They, as you could see with the mainstream media, are in love with us pointing out Russia to the point where people are so programmed that even in jest, if something happens with a computer, somebody will make a comedic gesture or a comment saying, oh, looks like the Russians are hacking. So they get you conditioned that even if you're just kidding around, you didn't say, well, Poland did it or, Jamaica did it. You say Russia, because that's what's instilled in your brain. So you subconsciously say it, even if you're saying it in jest. So that's how they program people without even people realizing it. Because like I've always said, you need real eyes to realize. And this is why, especially if you're new here, and this is the first video or second video of mine you've ever seen, one of the biggest videos I have, it's got almost 400,000 views at this point, and I'm honored that it even has that much. I can just imagine what the real view counts would be if they didn't suppress things. But my video, The Truth About the United States Law and You, is a must-watch. It's a 90-minute video, and no, it doesn't have special effects, and it doesn't have wonderful graphics and beautiful, songs and everything to distract you. It is a regular person, me, talking about the things that I've researched that I want to share that shows what our government has done to sell us all out for over a century. And it makes you understand why they do what they do, how they get away with the things that they get away with, why they use certain terminology. Like, for example, if you say you're proud to be a citizen, that tells me you do not know what the legal definition of that word is. And I teach that. So the best way to find it is you can go to my playlist, or you can just go to my videos, and where you see the section where it says newer videos or older videos, go to the most viewed, because that's the #1 most viewed video on my channel, and it is a must watch. And the problem is, when people try and share it, it doesn't get out there. When people try and post it on their social networks, it doesn't seem to work. When you hit the like button, it doesn't always register. So what I tell people is, if you have access to that video, and if you found it to be helpful in any way, and helped you to understand more of what's going on in this world, since YouTube is there just to make money and not caring about truth, and they want to try and silence it as much as they can, why they're doing it I can't answer. But what I suggest is you manually share it with friends. You have them come to your house. So you bring that video to their home and say, listen, this is important. This is something you need to see. And then you can at least formulate your own opinion. When it comes to the mainstream media, they don't give you options. They say on every channel, that's why when an event happens, no matter what channel you flip to, they might give you a different opinion of it from the people that they have in the panels, but it's going to regurgitate the same thing over and over again. They don't question it. They don't say, wait a minute, let me think about it. And I'll give you a prime example. I did a video about a month or two ago about that CNN news report where they were supposedly randomly picking a person in one of the protests, some just random, person there. And it ended up that that person that they interviewed was a cameraman for CNN, their own affiliation. Now, let's assume they have hundreds of cameramen, so maybe the person interviewing did not know that that person he was interviewing was a cameraman. First of all, the person didn't disclose that he works for CNN. It wasn't like they were hiding who they were. But let's just give them the absolute benefit of the doubt that they didn't know about it until the end of the segment when the CNN reporter in the newsroom said, oh, I know that guy. He worked with me in Africa. He was a cameraman. They then would have had the obligation and the duty, if they were investigative reporters, to say to the person they were interviewing, oh, is this true? Do you work for us? No, what they did was he put on a fake smile, put his arm around him, tried to talk a little bit more and pretend like that wasn't said. That is not investigative reporting. And I think there's a lot of nerve for the mainstream media to call out the word fake news to the point where everybody's using that term. That's why they use things like Pizzagate and all these other terms, like what's going on with Russia. They want you to regurgitate one or two things and just use that at the water cooler. And it makes some people actually feel smart and say, oh, look, I watch the news. I read the Wall Street Journal. I go on with such and such radio station. And they believe they're important and they're quote unquote in the know. And people don't understand the propaganda that's being projected into them. And again, like I said, with the whole even joking around with the whole, oh, Russia must be hacking things. Even if you are 100% in jest, you could have said anywhere is doing it. Why did you say Russia? Why? Because that's what everybody talks about in the mainstream media. So they grind that into your vocabulary so you don't think of anything else. The idea is we need to become smarter than that. We need to think on a better level. We need to not just follow along that path because it does help them. There is no bad press. And until we group together and say no more, things are not going to change. So, I am in a way kind of glad that YouTube is hiding my channel because then it tells me I'm going in the right direction. Now, not everybody's going to agree with that, and that's fine because my channel is not going to be for everybody. If you don't like what I say, the beautiful thing is you're free to come and go anytime you want. But if we want true change, we have to make it. We cannot sit back and allow others to do it. And YouTube blocking my stuff, making it harder for my subscribers to get notifications or thumb it up or share it or they get unsubscribed, to me, that's suggesting I must be in the right direction for them to screw with my channel so much. And I have other videos that have proven this time and time again that they've done this. They do it to me all the time. But what it says to me is I'm on the right track. I must be doing something right. Enough to piss somebody off. The real traitors. The people in the NSA. The people in the CIA. The people that sell out and make money to troll channels and make fake accounts. I mean, I still have people that are the same people trolling me since 2012. I mean, what kind of pathetic life do you have to have for almost 5 years to troll a channel that you don't like? I mean, you got to really have a sad life to do that. It's kind of pathetic. But I mean, hey, to each their own. And that's why I've always said, and if you've watched my channel before, there's an old saying when it comes to video games that if you are in a video game and you are confronted with lots of enemies, it means you're going in the right direction. The thing is not to be scared. is to lose the fear, because they're going to keep using the false flag events. They're going to keep staging things with the crisis actors, and people are going to see it on the mainstream media and assume because they're broadcasting it that it's true. That's one of the things I'm eliminating at this point. You cannot allow them to give you the propaganda. You know, like I've said before, and the new Star Wars movie came out, so I'm going to use a Star Wars reference, and I've used this before. When in the original Star Wars trilogy, in the first movie, Star Wars A New Hope, when they're on the Millennium Falcon on the way to Alderaan before it gets blown up in the beginning of the movie, Ben Kenobi's trying to train Luke Skywalker how to use the lightsaber, and he's got this little like baseball-shaped robot that's going back and forth that he's trying to block the shots from with his lightsaber. So he tells him to put the blaster shield over his eyes. And he says, well, with the blaster down, how am I supposed to fight? And Ben Kenobi says to him with a straight face and a very serious nature, says, your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. In other words, just because you're seeing something with your eyes does not mean it is what it is. Like this whole assassination that happened today with one of the Russian ambassadors. And they're saying that the person that did it screamed out, Allah Akbar or something like that. Now, does that mean that person works for the government of Turkey? Does that mean that he is part of ISIS just because he said those words? What if I turned around and said those words? What if I turned around, and I don't recommend this on anybody, don't do it, but what if I took a gun and shot a bunch of people and screamed out, this is for Hillary Clinton? Does that mean I'm a Hillary Clinton fan just because I said it? So just because they can record a person's voice, just because they can film somebody saying something or looking a certain way, does not mean that's who really did it, or their motives were in that way. They could have been paid to do it. I mean, when all of a sudden, after Trump got elected, after November 9th, all of a sudden you saw these swastikas coming up and saying, oh, power to Trump. You're telling me that somebody on the other side who is so upset about it couldn't have went and said that and framed people? How do we not understand this? How does the mainstream media not get this? These are the things that we have to think about. And I've seen so many people, even in this awoken type of movement, totally not see those bigger pictures. Understand the motivation of why things are done, not always what's being done, questioning it. That's why magicians can fool so many people, because you're seeing an illusion right in front of you and you swear they're really doing it. I mean, there is no person that is magically able to take a sword and put it through their forearm, even though you're somehow seeing it on camera or seeing it live. It's sleight of hand. It's tricks. It's manipulation. It's maybe somebody saying one thing and actually doing another. We cannot continue to be tricked by these people. That's why I tend to be more pessimistic these days. If I've learned anything about my 5+ years on this channel, is there will be the people who lie to you the most are the ones that pretend to be your best friends, who will tell you everything that you need to hear and yes you to death. They never question you. They always agree with everything. They try and pretend to be your friend. They infiltrate, agreeing with everything that you do and say. Those are the people that I find are the biggest liars. That's where you have to be careful. Because like if you've watched any mafia movie, when somebody in the mafia wants to execute somebody else in that same mafia, they don't hire some enemy to do it. Because if you see somebody you don't trust, you're going to stay away from them. Who is it that usually does you in? Usually your best friend. Why? Because you don't expect it. And this is how they infiltrate. So be very careful. I'm not saying not to trust everybody. What I'm saying is trust your instincts. And if your little alarm inside your head is going off, or that little feeling in your gut says something's not right, question it. Research about it. Look into it deeper. Don't just take it at face value because you see something or hear something and it sounds like it's supposed to be that way, so you just dismiss it. This is how the mainstream media and the governments and the corporations can control even the most awakened person, because you'll see something on the news, on the television, watching your television program, now back to our regularly scheduled program, and still be fooled. Because, oh, They announced it on TV. It's all over the news. It must be true. Well, how do you know if you weren't there? I'm not saying that these events don't happen. What I'm saying is, does it guarantee that just because they say it happened this certain way by a certain type with a certain ideal, does that guarantee that they are 100% true? If you don't know that, then you cannot say that they are the real news if they're not willing to question. And that's all I want to talk about this. I mean, as usual, I'll start with a certain topic and then I'll go off from there, but it's all relevant. It all has to do with taking control back, not believing everybody just at face value. Whatever happened, the trust has to be earned. People don't earn it anymore. I don't listen to the mainstream media anymore. I find them a joke. And just because they report an event happening does not mean that the event happened the way they said it did, or even truly happened at all. Be careful about your eyes. Don't trust them. So, as usual, all of you that take the time, whether you've been here for the first time or here for the 5,000th time, I want to thank every one of you that come here and spend your time making your comments. Those of you that come back and post your comments, that try and share my videos, who try and resubscribe dozens of times over and over again. Those of you who are seeking truth. This is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. They want it to get to the point where it's so frustrating you'll give up. And then people could say, like, and you could see it even work with me a little bit. It gets frustrating after a while. But as you could see, I may take a step back, but I'm never going to be out. And that's okay. Sometimes you need to just take a breather. Sometimes you just need to say, okay, let's recharge the battery. You keep using your cell phone without charging that battery, it dies really quick. And then it becomes useless. So sometimes you have to put it down, recharge it, so you could start over again. That's what we all need to do. So it shows even the best of us can fall, can topple. And the idea is, it's okay. Like the song says, I get knocked down, but I get up again. We need to work together. So as always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my videos. Don't